Yo, what up guys? Today I wanted to talk about Battlefield 1 and why people are coming back to play this game even almost a decade after its release. Does Battlefield 1 still hold up all these years later? Or are players just blinded by nostalgia? Let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is what got me into Battlefield 1. Back in 2016, I became a big Call of Duty hater. During this time, I got burnt out on Call of Duty. I was sick and tired of all the stupid decisions Activision was making, like putting COD 4 Remastered in a bundle with Infinite Warfare. I remember being angry that I had to buy Infinite Warfare just to play COD 4 Remastered, so I was looking for the next first-person shooter that would get me hooked, just like CSGO did. Well, on May 6, 2016, one of the best video game trailers of all time dropped. Battlefield 1 was announced to release in October. Everyone at my school and online was talking about the new trailer. We were all curious how DICE was going to make a good World War I first-person shooter game. This was the first game that was going to be set in World War I. People online were saying that this game was going to be horrible when it launched. No one knew what to expect out of this game. I was in the same boat. I have never played a Battlefield game in my entire life up until this point, so I had some hope that this game was going to deliver an amazing experience. You can get Battlefield 1 on Steam for only $2. It's on sale right now, and you can get it with all the DLC included. Fast forward to November of 2016. My mom asked my siblings and me what we wanted for Christmas. I told my mom I wanted a PS4 for Christmas, since I didn't have a good computer to run Battlefield 1 at the time. I had asked my friends in 8th grade what console I should get. My friends told me to get a PS4 since that was the platform everyone played on back in 2016. Most people in my class owned a PS4, basically no one had an Xbox One, or they were stuck on the 7th generation of consoles. Fast forward to Christmas of 2016, I opened my present and I got a PS4 bundled with Uncharted 4. Which was really cool. The next present I got was Battlefield 1, the disc version. I still prefer having a disc version over a digital version. I already had a PlayStation account. The only problem was that I didn't have PS Plus to play online. I was too embarrassed to ask my mom to buy me PlayStation Plus since she already bought me the game and the console. So I went online and I found out that Sony gives new PlayStation accounts a 2-week free trial of PS Plus. After I claimed my free trial, I hit up my friends to add me on PlayStation. After booting up Battlefield 1, I immediately went to play the campaign for a bit. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed Battlefield 1's campaign. It really showed how war can affect you mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the campaign, but I do recommend you guys go try it. One of my favorite campaign missions in Battlefield 1 is definitely the runner. I really like the story of that mission. I also did enjoy all the other missions in Battlefield 1. I just think the campaign is very underrated. Battlefield 1's campaign was actually really good compared to Battlefield 4. I only played like 4 missions of the Battlefield 4 campaign and I just got really bored. So I just went to go play the multiplayer. For Battlefield 1 though, I actually completed the campaign and I really enjoyed it. A lot of the war stories in Battlefield 1 are very emotional, so I recommend you guys go check it out. The next thing I want to talk about is the multiplayer. And holy shit guys, I was blown away by how good this game looked. It was insane. It felt like a movie. Even my dad will walk by a couple of times and ask me what movie I was watching. I told him it was a new game I got. Even my fucking dad guys was blown away by how good this game looked. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the graphics and how the game ran on my PS4. This game looks so good even on a PS4. The game ran at 40 to 60 FPS, which it sucks, but it was still fun. One thing that did surprise me of Battlefield 1 on PS4 was that the developers added an FOV option, which was unheard of on console. FOV sliders were only an option on PC. I think the only other game that I can remember that also had an FOV slider was Doom 2016. More developers should add an FOV slider for any game out there. It should be a standard by now. The second thing I want to talk about is the gameplay / guns in Battlefield 1. Every single gun in this game feels so satisfying to use, especially the snipers. Overall, I never felt like there were any overpowered weapons compared to Battlefield 4. Especially when it came to the gadgets. This game had a good variety of weapons you could use. Not as much variety as in Battlefield 4. Battlefield 1 had OP weapons like the Automatico, the Hell Regal, Model 10A Hunter, and the Fedorov, and the mortars, just to name a few. Even people who sucked at the game could get a high kill streak using these weapons / gadgets that I listed out. When it comes to Battlefield 1's gameplay, it felt so smooth compared to all the other Battlefield games I have played. Battlefield 1 fixed a lot of issues that the previous Battlefield games had. When comparing this game to Battlefield 4, the netcode, the hit reg, and the movement overall felt way better in Battlefield 1. I did enjoy the movement in Battlefield 4, and I also do prefer the movement in Battlefield 4. It's just that sometimes it felt a little clunky. I always felt like the movement in Battlefield 1 just felt way smoother, compared to Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 was released in 2013. So the game is kind of old, but still kind of new. So I don't know what's up with the movement in that game. I still prefer it over Battlefield 1 though. It feels way smoother. In Battlefield 4, it's just that BF1, it feels smooth as in, it doesn't feel like clunky, you know, it doesn't feel like an old game. It feels polished. Is basically what I'm saying. Battlefield 1 felt like I was actually in a real World War I setting. If you go to your settings in Battlefield 1 and turn off the HUD, this game feels so cinematic, it doesn't even look like a video game, it looks like a movie. If you showed someone who doesn't play video games a video of Battlefield 1, I guarantee you that person would think it's a movie and not a video game. The gameplay in Battlefield 1 felt so satisfying. Everything you did in this game made you feel like a badass. Whether it was getting a lot of kills, shooting someone 300 meters away with a sniper, slicing people with a sword while you were on a horse, or helping your team win a close game. There was never a time in this game when I felt like something was tedious to do. When it comes to Levelution, in Battlefield 1, it did not have big Levelution events like in Battlefield 4. Battlefield 1 didn't need much Levelution in my opinion, since everything you did in this game was basically a cinematic experience. For example, when you destroyed a blimp or you blew up a train or a bow in this game, it was a cool sight to see. But I do think DICE should have added a big Levelution events to Battlefield 1 just like in BF4. I think the game would have definitely benefited more if it had more Levelution, big Levelution events, just like in Battlefield 4. But either way, Battlefield 1 was still good even without those big Levelution events. It definitely would have made the maps more fun though. I still have fond memories of playing Battlefield 1 with my homie Bradley and my cousin. One of my favorite memories of playing Battlefield 1 was playing with my homie Bradley during Christmas break. We were both in 8th grade at the time. We got into a PlayStation party and started playing Conquest and Operations, which were the game modes that we preferred. After playing for almost 8 hours straight, we got bored, so we decided to make a private server to play 1v1s. After playing the 1v1s, I can't remember who won, to be honest with you guys, since it was almost 10 years ago now. What I do remember was us playing tag in Battlefield 1. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was so much fun. So basically how this worked was whoever was it had to chase the other person around the entire map until we touched one another. It was one of my favorite memories of playing this game with Bradley. Also, Bradley, if you're watching this, I hope you're doing well, bro. Also, hit me up if you're still out there. Next thing I want to talk about is the maps in Battlefield 1. A lot of the maps in this game were so cinematic. The only map I can say I didn't really enjoy was Suez. I just didn't like how bland the map looked. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. Overall, I enjoyed most of the Battlefield 1 maps. Some of my favorite maps were definitely Argonne Forest, Foul Fortress, Passchendaele, and Zeebrugge. I think I'm pronouncing that right, just to name a couple of maps. What I like most about Battlefield 1 were the real life / different maps we got during the DLC. I played all the maps in this game and they felt really fun to play on, especially during Operations, which was one of the best game modes in this game. I have many good memories of playing Operations with my cousin and my homie Bradley. It was our favorite game mode. In Battlefield 1, most of the maps were designed for Operations, which I really appreciated. One problem I had with Battlefield 4 compared to Battlefield 1 was that most of the maps were not designed for Rush in Battlefield 4, which was a very popular game mode. Operations in Battlefield 1 gave the old school and new school players a good experience of how Rush could be a popular game mode in Battlefield 1. It sucks that Rush is not as popular as it once was. I do think that Rush could be a popular game mode again in Battlefield. It's just that the developers need to keep that game mode as a top priority. They need to design the map specifically for Rush, or else that game mode is not going to work in Battlefield 6. That's why they need to take time to test it out and make the maps balanced. For example, when I would play Rush on Battlefield 4, one of the things that I didn't like was when we would play Rush on Operation Locker, and it was very one-sided on the defense side. It was very hard for the attackers to push an objective because of how chaotic Locker was. The Rush game mode got really unpopular after Battlefield 4. I feel like Battlefield 4 was the last game where they really tried to make Rush a popular game mode, and then later on they just kind of forgot about it. In my opinion, Battlefield 1 was the last good Battlefield game. A lot of the old developers who made these old Battlefield games left after making Battlefield 1. To me, Battlefield 1 was the last love letter we got from the original DICE developers. I wanted to give us not only an amazing World War I game, but also a really good Battlefield game. The reason why this game was so successful and regarded as one of, if not the best Battlefield games, was because the developers genuinely cared about making this game not only fun, but also historically accurate. I can't imagine how much research was done to make this game possible, but somehow the developers proved to us that a first-person shooter World War I game is possible. Battlefield 1 is the best World War I game ever made. I don't think any other video game company could have made a game as good as Battlefield 1. It makes me sad that EA will never capture this type of magic ever again, since most of the people who worked on this game are gone. Battlefield 1 holds a special place in my heart. This game made me want to try something new, other than playing Call of Duty all the time. For new players who want to play Battlefield 1 again, you're gonna struggle a lot, just because the game has been out for almost a decade now. So most of the people that are still playing Battlefield 1 are the hardcore Battlefield 1 fans. There are some new players, but just know that you're gonna run into a lot of tryhards in this game, but over time you're gonna get better. For people who are coming back to play Battlefield 1 again, I do recommend you come back and play it in 2026. It still holds up. The graphics, the gameplay, the movement, everything just feels really smooth in this game. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy it again. And also it still holds up even a decade later, and it's still more fun than most of the new Battlefield games. I feel like after Battlefield 5 came out, that's when the game started to get really bad. So this was like the last Battlefield game that actually felt like a Battlefield game. But for people returning, I do recommend you guys come back so we can grow the Battlefield 1 community more. And also you guys can come back to Battlefield 4. It will help really boost up the player counts. Battlefield 1 was the start of my journey of quitting Call of Duty entirely. But what do you guys think? Is Battlefield 1 the best game in the series? Do you love it or do you hate it? Let me know. And peace out.
And wish that I could just change my past. To think about you, Dad, there's so much shit that I could ask. Like, why am I still haunted by the day that you left? I wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats. I can't believe this happened, can't believe you're gone. I should've known that when I woke that something went wrong. All the loud screams, me running down the stairs, and she was by your side and you were just laying there. I didn't know what to do, I tried to call the cops. I was trying so hard to